Mitch Marner, man, like this PR storm, I'm just so sick of it. We have 16 days to go between now, I believe, if my math maybe is a bit off, don't mind me. But July 1's coming up. What's the latest you can tell us on Mitch Marner, Dave?
It's the same shit, guys. Like, there's nothing. We're not going to hear anything significantly new until we get to draft at best. He's not coming back, and that's not a surprise. I think everybody knew that. And he's going to weigh his options. I think I've been saying this for a little while now. I think Mitch has 6 to 8 teams that are on his list. And if they come calling, he's going to explore those. If there's another market that's going to be interested in going after him, then, he'll consider it, but they're going to have to pay him handsomely. I just heard you guys going off on the money. Rantanen 12.5 in Dallas is 14 in Toronto. So, it's not the craziest thing in a free agent market for a player of his caliber to be cracking that 14 mark. Maybe more. I think they reported last week that Carolina is going to go hard for him and spend some big dollars, 14 plus on an AAV is what I keep hearing. I don't think they're going to be the only ones. But does Mitch want to go to Carolina? Does he want to go to Anaheim? Does he want to go to Columbus? I'm not sure. I know 2 of the teams that he would be interested in going at, or 2, and it's now well documented out there, Los Angeles and Vegas. Are they going to step up? Are they going to be able to – LA's got the money. They've got the space. Are they going to step up with that offer? Vegas has to get creative, and they've got to figure out who else they're going to move out. What's the health of Alex Pietrangelo and so on. So, there are going to be other teams that are going to enter this mix. Utah's going to go hard. I think Chicago's going to have levels of interest. I think teams like Ottawa, Montreal, Calgary are going to poke around, but I don't see him going to another Canadian market. So, what are those options going to be? We'll find out more definitively as we get closer to July 1, but there's not much that's going to change between now and then, boys. If anything, maybe Tree can finagle a team to get a draft pick in exchange for his rights to at least get the ball rolling on a new contract, at least get a head start on some of the other teams before July 1. If anything, that might be something they'll try to do, but he could say no as well because he still has a no move that kicks in that doesn't go away until his contract goes away.
Dave, that part that you said there about Rantanen, the money he makes in Dallas and the money that would be in Toronto, can you just say that again and what the numbers would be so that Vic can clip it and we could send it to the NHL? And when Gary talks about the taxes and stuff again, we could just show him that clip.
Listen, the tax shit, I mean, Nashville sucked, and they got the same advantage. Seattle's, I don't know what the hell they're doing there, and they've got the same advantage. At the end of the day, if you want to, and Colorado's not a tax-free state, but they're lower than, a lot lower than New York or California. And so on. So, there are different advantages everywhere. If the team is shit, nobody wants to go there. All month I've been saying this. When the Leafs were rebuilding, nobody wanted to be on the Leafs when they were rebuilding. Nobody wanted to. It's a shitstorm now. Could you imagine when this team sucked playing for him? It wasn't. I was talking to top tier guys, first line players, all stars, future Hall of Famers, and they're like, nah, we'll wait till they're on the upswing, then consider it. Just win. If you're winning, there's a slight advantage. You're going to make a little bit, you get a tiny extra cap benefit. But at the end of the day, if you're not winning, you're not getting those players anyway.
Any update on Tavares?
Ongoing talks is my understanding. They're trying to figure out the framework here on how to make this happen. I think there's moving parts from Toronto's side of things too. I think they're exploring they're casting a bit of a wide net here to see what additional options are going to be available to them via the trade market. Obviously they got to wait. I think they're pinpointing who they want to pursue in free agency, but at the same time, I think there's more activity, at least for now, in the trade market to see what either is available or might be available draft and in July if some teams lose out on players, if some teams gain free agency or players via free agency, do some of their other assets become available? So this is the big due diligence process, the reworking of their plan or the beginning of the execution of whatever their internal plan is to see what their options are. I think 91 is still part of it. He may not necessarily be the center move that they make. They may slot him on the left side. Like the Leafs right now are down, well, technically 3 top 6 forwards. Assuming Tavares stays, then you've got 2 to fit. You need somebody on the right side to play alongside Nyes and Matthews, and then you either need a second-line center or a second-line left winger, depending on where you're going to slot Tavares. But I do think there's a pathway there. I do not think he's signing 7 years at $2 million a year, or whatever the hell people think may happen. You're probably looking at most 3, is my guess. But we'll see kind of, how the dominoes fall in that regard.
Dave, it doesn't feel like the free agent class here is, not to put a knock on them, but, that prime of a year, especially when you kind of look at what's coming up for the next season. Is this more of a year where the Leafs are going to have to target trades, as you kind of just mentioned, looking up at the draft and trying to find players to acquire that way, potentially here maybe offer sheets if they want to get into that market? Like, I know we saw this morning, it was Arthur Staple putting out there that Mika Zibanejad, is available, and that was a player that the Leafs have had interest in. What do you make of guys that are out there on the trade market who are going to be available, and kind of how the Leafs might look to approach this offseason in one of those years where you are losing a significant piece, but there's not too much out there that you can just go and sign on July 1?
Yeah, it's a shallow pool. It's a very, very shallow pool. And the options are going to be limited. Like, some guys are going to be making a lot of money. And this is the other thing with the salary cap. Now that it's going up, and we know how it's going to go next year and the year after, the guys in the middle that always got shafted, they're going to start getting their money. So you're going to see guys that are mid-6 players that are probably going to make a little bit more now and make you kind of wonder, but that's just the way the market's going. Zach, you were bang on in what you said, I think right before I came on, when it's you're not replacing Mitch Marner with one player. You've got to find a way to replace that overall productivity in reshaping your roster and effectively reshaping your top and mid-6. And I think that's what Toronto is going to do. And that's why I think they're going to be a little bit more active than normal in the trade market. Sorry, Nick, they're not waiting for next summer to see if Connor McDavid's going to be available.
Never know.
Okay, let's see what the next few weeks play out, how they play out. Yeah. But I think they're going to look now. Like we talked about this during the second round. Like, you look at teams that are up against the cap that need to move out some players. I mentioned during that second round, Mason Marchment is going to be a guy to look at in Dallas. 1 year, $4.5 million. Had solid productivity in Dallas, had a bit of an up and down season, but still produced solidly in terms of numbers, brings some physicality. Is that somebody you look at for your left side and on your second line? Bringing in a few players that can play in a top 6, but have that jam and that energy to their game. Zibanejad, skill set wise, and I've talked to a lot of people around the league about him. A lot of people believe a change of scenery will do him a lot of justice. With all the crap that's going on in New York, and I have no idea what the hell the direction is of the Rangers anymore. I don't even know if they know, other than trying to free up money. Where they're going to allocate that money, I'm not sure. But there are teams that feel like get Zibanejad in a different environment, and he's going to get back to his offensive form. If the Leafs believe that to be the case, then it wouldn't surprise me if they go hard after that caliber player, because there aren't going to be too many available. You're going to have to be creative. But I think it's going to be a combo of the Marchment type of player that has that jam, but fits into a top 6 that can keep up for the most part. I think there's going to be a lot of discussion from a trade market perspective with respect to Toronto between now and July 5th.
Just my opinion, and I've been saying this for a couple weeks. The Rangers, you can never count them out on anything. Would I be shocked if July 1 comes, they suddenly have crazy amounts of cap space and they call Mitch Marner? Probably not. I don't know if he wants to go to a place like that after playing in Toronto, but I would not discount anything for the New York Rangers perspective. Want to get your thoughts on Mr. Blizzard himself, Brad Marchand, having a hell of a Stanley Cup final. We've been doing a great job of promoting the product yet again, like we've been doing with Marner and Bennett. We're getting all these guys paid, but unfortunately, we're not going to get the money. How realistic is it, Marchand going to Toronto, Dave?
Well, it was his favorite team growing up.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
He said that, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, maybe that's what everybody's buying into. I think he wants to stay in Florida, whether they can afford it or not. Maybe DQ becomes a sponsor of the team and helps him out. But, I think he's kind of in that 50-50 world of take 2 years, $10 million total, and stay here, or 11 or 12 million, something in that range, that $5 to $6 million range to stay in South Florida. Or, do you try, like, if a team's willing to give him $8 million over 3 years, does he want to go after that? And especially if he wins the cup, that'll be his second time winning. Is he comfortable doing that, or does he want to stay out here? I don't know. It's still a little premature in that regard. If he's available, yes. If I'm Toronto, I'm making that inquiry. Absolutely, without question. You've seen what he's done in these playoffs. Anticipate that not being consistent over a regular season, because that's a lot on the body to take. Plus, he's been sound defensively. He's been the driver for that. His line with Listerainen and Lundell has been the best line in the playoffs in terms of overall. Does he match well with Austin and Nyes? Would he be better suited on a second line? His responsibilities and his minutes in Florida have been lessened because of the depth that the Florida Panthers possess. Second line and first line. He's on the third line. They've been able to spread out the minutes. It's benefited everybody. Is that something that Toronto can do, A? And B, does he believe that? Does he want to go there? I think there will be, if he hits July 1, a ton of interest in him. Does he fit the mold of the Leafs right now based on, you have to expect that level of productivity is not going to be over in a full 82-game season. It's going to be primarily playoff-wise. But, I mean, at the same time, people forget the guy cracked 100 points in his career in a season as well. So he's capable of it. Can he be capable of it over a full season under at the age that he's in? That's what teams have to also evaluate.
Dave, just sticking on the Florida guys here, the Leafs have obviously kind of been, I don't know if you want to say linked to, or have kind of been in the same conversations as all three of Bennett, Ekblad, and Marchand, as you just touched on there. I think you've played the game here with Nick before, the take it or leaf it. So I'm going to throw one at you here, and I want to see what your thoughts are. Take it or leaf it. At least one of those three pending UFAs from the Panthers, Bennett, Ekblad, Marchand, will be a Toronto Maple Leaf next year.
Oh, damn it. I'm going to say leaf it. Right? That's the right one? Is that the one where nobody signed?
Yes, you got it.
Yes,
nailed it.
yes,
Thank you.
correct.
Good job, Dave.
Yeah.
Just checking, because the Leafs.
I probably could have done a better job of giving you in some type of info there.
No, I was just
probably could have teed you up better.
I hadn't done it in a little while. I think the look. I don't think any of them signed, but if one of them does, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Ekblad. If they look towards that, and then that'll revolve around some other changes that may have to occur on the back end. I don't think Sam Bennett's leaving South Florida. He may not, get a deal done by July 1, but I think he wants to stay, and I keep hearing 8x8. So we'll see kind of what happens there. As I said, Marchand, I think it'll be up to him. If he wants to stay here, it'll be a little less money overall, even with the state tax business. But does he just want to ride out the rest of his career here? Because Florida's window's wide open for all of these guys. Like this is potential dynasty kind of situation happening here, especially if they pull it off tomorrow night or in Game 7 on Friday. Ekblad, they've wanted him to sign in the sixes, and this goes back to last summer. Like they explored the trade market on him last summer as well when contract talks didn't get anywhere. He's at 7.5 right now. I think he wants to be in that range for here, but he could probably get 8 on the open market somewhere, maybe higher given like we talked about, how shallow this free agent pool is. We'll see kind of what happens, but I think Leaf fans should start understanding that their options in the free agent market overall are limited. Expect them to be more busy in the trade market.
Yeah, again, wait till 2026. That's my breakdown of everything here. Connor McDavid. I don't know. Like, again, Dave's not even the bearer of bad news. I think everybody has to be realistic with what the Maple Leafs are going to do the next couple weeks. I don't expect them. Like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But Dave, I do have a duty for you as we wrap here. Can you start creating some noise over guys not linked to the Maple Leafs? Because the three guys that I know their contracts already, because every media member is talking, Marchand, Bennett, Ekblad, Marner, all these guys linked to the Maple Leafs. Let's start talking about Besser, Nikolai Ehlers. Can you float some numbers out there? And Lane Hudson, I think, is worth $16 million per season coming off a Calder.
Bouchard's 15 plus, right?
Yeah. I think Bouchard's going to get offer sheeted here. So let's start that combo one day, okay?
Yeah, let's try. Well, you guys, you got to get your first round picks back. So that's A.
Yeah.
You know, I could see. I don't see Besser being an option here, boys. I think Ehlers. I think they'll pursue Ehlers. I think they'll give it a shot. To be honest, I think they do have a guy that on that left side on the second line. If you keep JT at the dot, if he stays, and then I think he would mesh well with Willie Nylander. But I think he's another guy that might go south of the border. I think he's going to July 1. I don't think he's staying in Winnipeg. Winning changes things, certainly, so maybe he feels a market like Toronto would be better suited for him. But that's somebody that I would expect them to at least pick up the phone on and see. Outside of that, I will do my best to pay more attention to the trade market and see what options may be available to Toronto. I will let you boys know. I'll shoot you a text.
Appreciate it.
And you guys can, bring that up. But let me dig a little bit more on some of these guys.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Roseau. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.